There's a part of the brain called the frontal lobes, executive functioning, I understand. And then there's another part of the brain called the amygdala, which is the fear center, fight or flight. They seem to be at odds with each other. And today I read more and more, and I know from talking with people that the amygdala, the fear center, seems to have taken over. Could you comment on the effect of transcendental meditation on these parts of the brain?
We live in environments that are very harsh, and so you have two things. You have the creative reward, positive side, and you have the protective side. Most of the things we deal with are actually the protective side. So that is why our nervous system has developed to protect us. So, if you are in a dangerous situation, what do you prefer? For your system to immediately be set up to protect itself, run, fight or fight in an immediate way, or start thinking about arts and music and beautiful philosophical thing. You want your body and your mind to actually protect you first. So there is a mechanism in the system that protects us. Now, when this mechanism is overworking beyond its, normal state, or when society has created environments that are complex and that create pressure on the system, then these aspects of the human nervous system get activated as if through reflex mechanisms to lead to anxiety, fear, self-protection from the other, etc., etc. And so therefore these things are built in within the what we can call the lower parts of the brain, which are more automatic, more already conditioned and already in reflex kind of functioning.
That's the amygdala?
Yeah, that's the amygdala. The amygdala works like this, even though it's very closely connected to the conscious aspects of the brain. And then you have the upper side of the brain, the new brain, sometimes we used to call it, in frontal, lobes with appreciation of the situation, comparing past, present, and future, anticipation of the future, etc. And also interpretation of events, or interpretation of on a factual way, or on a way to construct things so that they make sense to us. We can go back to this if this is of interest. That actually makes sense out of this and tell the lower brain that we are no more in the jungle.
Oh.
We are no more, at every minute getting exposed to danger and things. So we have the ability to create things and do things. Or they'll tell we are in a worse jungle than we have ever been before. And therefore we have to manage our situation. So if some parts of the brain take over and they get too overstimulated, then they can imbalance the physiology and create diseases and problems which are not just mental but also physical because of the psychosomatic effect. The basic value that we have is we have a brain that can compute all kinds of things from completely different perspectives. There is a fact-checking brain which is mostly on the right frontal area. There is an interpreter brain, which is mostly on the left frontal, prefrontal area. We have areas that are for reward, like the nucleus accumbens, the septal areas of the brain connected to the basal ganglia. We have fear centers. And so we have all of these things. We have also creative centers, centers for hearing, vision, etc., physical activity, etc., sensory activity. So all of these many, many, many areas of the brain. If one area of these areas takes over, such as the amygdala, for example, then the individual becomes enslaved, captured by these values. What we need is an opening up of the brain so that all of the different values are available for the computation of what we need to do at what moment. The more we have a brain that is opened, that is being properly used, the better decision-making we have, and the better even our physiology is maintained and allowed to act in a coherent way. Because after all, we have discovered that there is a psycho, neuro, endocrino, immunological, etc. chain in the nervous system. So the brain is not just a place where things have been experienced or in the mind, and thoughts, etc. It's a place where everything is coordinated. And when there is disturbance in the brain activity, it can disturb or the brain become unable to help coordinate the physiology, or it can interfere even with different, somatic, which means physical aspects of the physiology.
And the meditation.
So meditation has been shown to open up the reserves of the brain, to allow different parts of the brain to act in a coherent way. And even in advanced structures and studies of brain visualization with advanced techniques, we see that there is blood flow that goes to parts of the brain that are more integrating, that open up different aspects of physiological brain activities, such as coherence between right and left, between front and back, which means we are opening up the physiology of the brain and allowing it to compute in a much more complete way what the situation is and be able to deal with it in a more intelligent, between quotation mark, way.